Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by Hyundai. Experience the 2011 Hyundai Sonata today at HyundaiSonata.com.
This is Autoline Daily for November 9, and here's the latest news for all of you who keep track of what's going on in the automotive industry. General Motors reported its third quarter earnings this morning, and frankly speaking, the results are disappointing. The company actually sold 117,000 more vehicles than it did a year ago, and that helped bring in almost $2.6 billion more in revenue, but the company's profits fell 12% to $1.7 billion. You know, that's not very good when your sales and revenue go up, but your profits fall. And this is because GM is having problems outside of its home market. It lost money in Europe again, meaning the company will not hit its goal of breaking even there this year. And that helps explain yesterday's announcement that Nick Riley, who had been running GM of Europe, is on the way out. While GM made money in Asia, its profitability dropped 30%, which once again shows that China does not contribute much to GM's bottom line. And the company actually reported a loss in South America, even though sales were up. GM's core North American operations saw a big jump in vehicle sales, but a modest increase in revenue and profit. Put it all together, and this is not a very impressive performance. Hey, looks like Hyundai let the cat out of the bag. Here are a couple of photos of the next generation Genesis Coupe, which leaked out on a Korean website. If these images are accurate, the sporty two-door is getting a facelift and an updated rear. The front is going corporate to fit in with the rest of the Hyundai lineup, while the backside gets some saucy new tail lamps. The updated Genesis Coupe is expected to take a bow at the Detroit Auto Show in January. Volvo is giving power to the people, or at least to some of its owners. The company will offer an aftermarket ECU upgrade to drivers of T5-powered C30, C70, S40, and V50 models. The performance boost comes from Swedish tuner Polestar. It juices the turbo 5-cylinder engine for another 23 horsepower and 29 foot-pounds of torque by optimizing airflow and spark timing. They could have gone for a lot more than that, but the warranty still applies. The upgrade will be available next week for $1,295, including installation, and that works out to about $56 per horsepower. Hey, no one ever said that speed was cheap. Nissan is showing off the latest version of its Pivo concept car. The third generation of this EV has traded in its bubbly appearance for straight lines and angles. The design kind of reminds me a little bit of the Volkswagen Nils that they showed at Frankfurt. Look for the Pivo 3 to be formally introduced at the Tokyo Motor Show in a couple of weeks. Kia unveiled a new A-segment vehicle for the Korean market called the Ray. While it does look like a smaller version of the Soul, kind of reminds me of the original Scion XB. One of the unique features includes a sliding rear passenger door, but not much else was revealed. Powertrain details will be announced closer to the launch. Earlier this year, Nissan introduced its first commercial van into the American market. Now the company just revealed a passenger version of the van called the NV3500 HD. It has 4 rows and can seat up to 12 people. Just like the commercial version, the passenger model comes with the choices of either a V6 or V8 engine, which can be mated to a 5-speed automatic. It'll be built at Nissan's Canton, Mississippi facility and sold through selected dealers. While there were a couple of new vehicles to talk about today, we have to report about one car that will not be with us much longer. According to Wards, Lexus is going to drop the HS 250h Hybrid. There will be a 2012 model, but there are no plans for a next-generation version. Lexus originally set a goal of selling 30,000 a year in the U.S., but that was later revised to 20,000. However, the HS hasn't come anywhere near that. Through October, fewer than 2,400 have been sold. Coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Look at this. Bridgestone's using natural rubber, researching ways to enhance its quality and performance, and making their factories more environmentally friendly, producing products that save on fuel and emissions, and some that can be reused again, and promoting eco-friendly and safety driving campaigns. One team, one planet. Bridgestone.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. Tony Gray saw our report on the Continental system that automatically brakes in emergency situations at low speeds, and he says, I find the Continental system interesting. The vast majority of accidents that I see on my daily commute are rear-enders. Low speed, usually non-injury, fender benders, bumper bashers. Beyond the reduction in vehicle repair costs, I find this system beneficial because less of my priceless time will be wasted in backups caused by these distracted knuckleheads. Amen, Tony. Anything that reduces traffic jams is good in my book. Jeff Myers thinks Hyundai can boost its sales even more. He says the 2012 Hyundai Accent would be doing far better if inventory levels were stronger. I sell for Hyundai in Nova Scotia, Canada, and our inventory consists of 90% base models with manual transmissions. A customer recently had to wait 3 months for a GLS model. Wow. If Jeff's right, Hyundai's competitors better beware, because it is going to get more inventory as it ramps up production in North America. Tango R34 is not impressed with how much Chevrolet sales are up worldwide. He says, many people also don't realize that most of those Chevrolets are rebadged Opels, Holden, Isuzu, and Daewoo's, which may be GM, but definitely nothing Chevrolet is in them. Well, they're not exactly rebadged Opels, Holdens, or Isuzus, but they are rebadged Daewoo's. In fact, we need to point out that much of the increase in global Chevy sales are accompanied by nearly as big a drop in sales of Daewoo's. John M. doesn't like the new infotainment system in cars. If you need to take a class to learn how to use the so-called infotainment system in a vehicle, then it's still too complicated. I think automakers are going too far when operating features like HVAC, stereo, and even navigation systems requires taking a class or obtaining a computer science degree. What I've said before is worth repeating. These are vehicles, not iPads or iMobiles. Well, John M., I don't know about needing a science degree, but you're right. These things should be made simple. Hey, thanks for all your comments and letters. We love reading them. And hey, I also invite you to join us tomorrow night for Autoline After Hours. We will have electric car proponent Chris Payne on. He's the guy who just directed the movie Revenge of the Electric Car. So join me and the auto extremist Peter DeLorenzo for what promises to be an electric conversation. But that wraps up this show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.